Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about money. Our plan consists of 7 parts. The first one is what is money. The next, the history of money, characteristics of money, functions of money, and facts about money. The last one is popular quotes by popular people about money. Money is any item or medium of exchange that is accepted by people for the payment of goods and services, as well as the repayment of loans. Money makes the world go around. Economies rely on money to facilitate transactions and to power financial growth. Typically, it's economists who define money, where it comes from, and what it is worth. Most economists assume that money developed for trading purposes because it was more flexible than bartering. This meant that money was a valuable commodity in itself, such as cattle in ancient civilizations, later gold and silver by weight. Finally, coinage, gold and silver coins. The history of money. The concept of money has been around for thousands of years, so its invention is difficult to pinpoint. There is evidence of money being used in ancient civilizations in Mesopotamia and Egypt, where they used clay tablets to record debts and transactions. However, the first physical forms of money are believed to have emerged in China around 1000 BC in the form of cowrie shells as currency. Money has been around for at least 5,000 years, with the earliest forms of being in the form of commodities such as shells, salt, and livestock. Over time, the concept of money evolved and new forms of currency were introduced. The barter system. The earliest form of money existed only as a concept through the practice of bartering. In a barter system, people exchange goods and service directly without the medium of money. When bartering, two parties must agree on a fair exchange rate of goods and services. For example, one person might trade 2 chickens for a new pair of sandals or a bag of rice. Barter systems have many limitations. For a successful barter, you must find someone who has the exact thing you need and is willing to trade it for something you can provide. If there is more than one person who is willing to barter, there is no way to standardize the value of a barter. One cobbler may demand 3 chickens for a pair of shoes, while another cobbler in a neighboring town may only want 1 chicken in exchange for a similar pair of shoes. The cost of traveling one town over for a better exchange rate adds another element to bartering, especially if you are already in need of new shoes. To better quantify the costs of various goods and services, people began using commodity forms of money. Commodity money. Commodity money is the first tangible form of currency. Popular types of commodity money include salt, shells, beads, or other valuable items that couldn't easily be reproduced. The development of commodity money, a person no longer needed to find someone who wanted enter to a one-for-one barter. Instead, they could exchange commodity money for a good or service, and the person paid was then able to use the commodity money they received for any future transactions. As societies become more complex, people began using precious metals like gold and silver as commodities. These precious metals were harder to come by and more difficult to produce than previous commodity monies. They were also durable and held inherent value depending on the metal's properties. The use of precious metals as commodity money eventually gave way to coin minting. Coin minting is the formation of metal currency produced to a standard weight and size. Coin minting first began in 600 BC Lydia, a kingdom in ancient Greece. The uniformity of metal coins made money much easier to carry and trade while also reducing the risk of fraud. They also allowed for a divisional table of coins where 1 coin equals the value of 5 less coins, and so on. Coin minting marked a significant moment in the history of money. No longer was the value of money derived just from the object of exchange. Instead, money began to represent a value ascribed to it by the government issuing the coins. Representative money. Representative money was developed as an easier way to conduct financial transactions without having to always carry weighty coins. Representative money is often printed on paper and represents something of value without holding intrinsic value. Unlike the next form of money, fiat, representative money has a direct tie to a commodity or other physical asset with a tangible measure of value, supporting the face of value representative money. Gold standard. The gold standard is an example of representational money used throughout many countries in the 19th and early 20th centuries. It linked a country's currency to the value of gold, backing each unit by a specific amount of gold. This system directly ensured the value of paper currency notes. As more countries adopted the gold standard, it also provided an easy exchange rate among countries and helped keep inflation in check by preventing any sharp changes in value. However, the demand for more money eventually outstripped the supply of gold. To satisfy this change, dozens of countries convened to establish the Bretton Woods system. The system was a negotiated monetary order intended to regulate economic relationships between 44 different countries, encouraged by the economic collapse of many countries following World War II. A collective agreement was reached that some new order needed to be established to maintain global economic security. Transition to paper currency. During 1260 CE, the Yuan dynasty of China moved from coins to paper money. By the time Marco Polo, a Venetian merchant, explorer and writer who traveled through Asia along the Silk Road, visited China in approximately 1271 CE. The Emperor of China had a good handle on both the money supply and its various denominations. In fact, in the place where modern American bills say, "In God we trust," the Chinese inscription at that time warned, "Those who are counterfeiting will be beheaded." Parts of Europe still used metal coins as their sole form of currency until the 16th century. Colonial acquisitions of new territories via European conquest provided new sources of precious metals and enabled European nations to keep minting a greater quantity of coins. But banks eventually started using paper banknotes for depositors and borrowers to carry around in place of metal coins. These notes could be taken to the bank and at any time and exchanged for their face value in metal, usually silver or gold or coins. This paper money could be used to buy goods and services. In this way, it operated much like currency does today in the modern world, but it was issued by banks and private institutions rather than the government, which is now responsible for issuing currency in most countries. The first paper currency issued by European governments was actually issued by their colonial governments in North America, because shipments between Europe and the North American colonies took a long time. Colonies often ran out of cash. Instead of going back to a barter system, the colonial governments issued as currency. The first instance was in Canada, then a French colony. In 1685, when soldiers were issued playing cards denominated and signed by the governor to use as cash instead of coins from France. Characteristics of money. There have been many forms of money in history, but some forms have worked better than others because they have characteristics that make them more useful. The characteristics of money are durability, portability, divisibility, uniformity, limited supply, and acceptability. Let's compare two examples of possible forms of money. A cow Cattle have been used as money at different points in history. A stock of US $20 bills equal to the value of one cow. Let's run down our list of characteristics to see how they stack up. Durability. A cow is fairly durable, but a long trip to market runs the risk of sickness or death for the cow and can severely reduce its value. $20 bills are fairly durable and can be easily replaced if they become worn. Even better, a long trip to market doesn't threaten the health or value of the bill. Portability. While the cow is difficult to transfer to the store, the currency can be easily put into your pocket. Divisibility. A $20 bill can be exchanged for other denominations, say as 10, 5, 4 ones, and 4 quarters dollars. A cow, on the other hand, is not very divisible. Uniformity. Cows come in many sizes and shapes, and each has a different value. Cows are not a very uniform form of money. $20 bills are all the same size and shape and value. They are very uniform. Limited supply. In order to maintain its value, money must have a limited supply. While the supply of cows is fairly limited, if they were used as money, you can bet ranchers would do their best to increase the supply of cows, which would decrease their value. The supply and therefore the value of $20 bills and money in general are regulated by the Federal Reserve so that the money retains its value over time. Acceptability. Even though cows have intrinsic value, some people may not accept cattle as money. In contrast, people are more than willing to accept $20 bills. In fact, the US government protects your right to use US currency to pay your bills. Now turn to functions of money. Money has three primary functions in any economy: as a medium of exchange, as a unit of account, and as a store of value. Medium of exchange. Money enables anyone who possesses it to participate as an equal market player. When consumers use money to purchase an item or service, they are effectively making a bid in response to an asking price. This interaction creates order and predictability in the marketplace. Producers know what to produce and how much to charge, while consumers can reliably plan their budgets around predictable and stable pricing models. If money, as represented by a currency, is no longer viable as a medium of exchange, or if its monetary units can no longer be accurately valued, businesses and consumers lose their ability to plan. Market volatility will cause the markets to become chaotic. Unit of account. The unit of account function of money refers to the use of money as the base of comparison individuals use to value goods and services, make calculations, and record debt. Having objective units of account also allows buyers and sellers to easily determine if a trade is worth it. Buyers know how much money they have in total and can compare the price of the desired good against this total. Conversely, sellers can set a sale price for that covers their production costs. Without objective units of money, both of these would be difficult. Money that can operate as a unit of account allows for quick, rational economic decisions and for money to be spent on the most profitable endeavor. Ultimately, this leads to greater economic growth. Store of value. Store of value is an asset that can retain its purchasing power into the future and can be retrieved to be used again at a later time. Money has a store of value because it's an asset that can be invested, stored in a bank, left in a safe at home, and then later used to purchase something in the future. Store of value is an important money function because it helps facilitate trade in the future. People and governments put faith in money's store of value so that this can happen. Money functions as a store of value in the modern-day economy just as it has in the past. People can use the same money they had put in a bank decades ago to buy something today. This is a $1,000 bill in US currency. Most people store their money in banks, but there are groups of people who do not trust in banks or government, and they store their cash on their properties. Money is not the only store of value asset around today. There are other, less commonly used currency assets as well. Gold, silver, and even some cryptocurrencies can have a store of value characteristic. Facts about money. The first is there is a reason US dollars are green. Dollar bills weren't always green. Colonial money, for example, was stained with black or red ink. It wasn't until the Civil War the government started using green ink to print paper money, where it got the name greenbacks. The color was selected because the ink didn't fade or easily decompose, which protected against counterfeiting. A coin can last around 30 years. Coins stay in circulation for about 30 years, which is when they become too worn to use. At that time, the Federal Reserve takes them out of circulation and melts them down to use for other purposes. Martha Washington. Martha Washington is the only woman to appear on a US bill. America's First Lady is to this day the only woman to have her likeness on a US paper currency note. Her image appeared on the $1 silver certificate first issued in 1996 and discontinued in 1857. It was the country's second longest issued paper money. Now turn to facts about money. In God we trust. Coins didn't always say "In God we trust." The original American penny, reportedly designed by Benjamin Franklin, features a motto he popularized: "Mind your business." The message wasn't literally telling people not to be nosy. Instead, it was meant as a literal instruction about business and commerce, to keep focused on your livelihood. Physical money. Only 8% of the world's currency is physical money. With mobile banking and electronic payments becoming more and more common, people are earning and spending money without having to even touch it. Economists estimate only 8% of the world's currency is literal cash, with the rest existing on computer hard drives in electronic bank accounts. The dollar sign. The dollar sign was first used in 1785. The official adoption of the dollar sign in the US can be traced back to 1785, when it evolved from the Spanish symbol for pesos. It is believed the dollar originated from the abbreviation PS, which was used to indicate Spanish pesos in the Americas. Gradually, the S came to be written over the P, eventually morphing into the dollar sign we know today. Quotes about money. Money never made a man happy yet, nor will. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. Benjamin Franklin. A wise person should have money in their head, but not in their heart. Jonathan Swift. It isn't the employer who pays the wages. Employers only handle the money. It is the customer who pays the wages. Henry Ford. Money is like love. It kills slowly and painfully the one who withholds it and enlivens the other who turns it on his fellow man. There are people who have money and people who are rich. Coco Chanel. Money often costs too much. Emerson. Every day is a bank account and time is our currency. No one is rich, no one is poor. We have got 24 hours each. Christopher Rice. Many people take no care of their money till they come nearly to the end of it, and others do just the same with their times. Goethe. Never spend your money before you have it. Thomas Jefferson. Thank you for your attention.